Welcome back to Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin here at our Restoration Nation. Today we have a national treasure to share with you.
Ruthland is located in the old suburbs lying just southeast of the original town of Natchez. The house occupies the summit of a high but gently rounded hill in a large landscaped park. In the center, formed by the graveled front drive, is a live oak tree certified by the Mississippi Forestry Commission to have been in place since 1775. The frame of the 1.5-story house is set on a 5-foot-high foundation and is covered with clapboards. Beneath the hip roof with dormers, the entire 93-foot breadth of the 9-bay southwest facade is shaded by a central pedimented portico and flanking flat-roofed galleries. The 3-bay portico is reached by a broad flight of stuccoed steps which gently curve inward as it leads up from the gray and white stone paving of the carriage landing. The original builder of Ruthland died in 1867, and 3 years later, Ruthland was acquired by another prominent Mississippian, Charles Clark, who had served during the Mexican War as a colonel and was governor of Mississippi. In 1946, the Clark descendants sold Ruthland to the present owners, who have maintained the house and grounds in excellent condition. Their attention to history helps make Ruthland a memorial to the outstanding families who have occupied the property throughout the years.
Welcome to Ruthland, one of Natchez's finest federal period homes. This home was built by John Routh between 1815 and 1817, and it is a vernacular style federal home. Throughout its exterior and interior, we have elements of Federal, Greek Revival, and little hints of Gothic and Rococo. So it truly is a vernacular style home that we see so often here in Natchez. I'm standing on the 93-foot 9-bay portico of this house, accentuated by these glorious Doric columns, which again are unique in this area to federal period homes. And I am standing below the tympanum that has the gorgeous oval window with radiating muntins. We see this particular style of window in federal period homes here in Natchez built around 1812 to 1820. We see other examples in buildings like Auburn, Rosalie, and Choctaw. So this is a very typical style window for this period home. And in front of me is one of the most magical and special elements of this entire home, and that is the live oak that has been inducted into the Louisiana Live Oak Federation, recognized as one of the largest and oldest live oaks in the territory. I love the Louisiana Garden Club, the Live Oak Federation. The only members of the Live Oak Federation are the oaks themselves and the chairman who oversees the inductions. So another treasure here at Ruthland. Although this is very definitively a federal period home built initially between 1815 and 1817, we have a Greek Revival throughout the architecture. And here we see it in this Greek Revival frontispiece with these glorious Doric columns. The entire frontispiece is Greek Revival to a T. And in our side lights, we have the original snowflake pattern glass. So let's go inside and see what other elements of Greek Revival and federal architecture we can find. Here we are in the front hall of beautiful Ruthland. Underfoot, the original floors that have seen feet treading across them for more than 200 years. That is a great deal of this nation's history. You'll see, although this is a federal period home and we can see a parsed down simplicity inside the structure, there are still Greek Revival elements everywhere. And we see those in the entablatures and architraves around the door frames. This is high style Greek Revival, though a more simplistic form than you're going to find in some of the grander, larger suburban villas that we have here in Natchez. There's something that belongs to the family that I want to draw your attention to, and it is this tapestry. Now, it is difficult to believe, but the mother of the current owner hand-stitched this replica of the famous tapestry, The Wool Gatherers. It took her 10 years to complete, and 1 million stitches were involved. The owner says that it's possible that this tapestry possibly could stay with the home with the new owners. So that is something I would definitely check into. We see here, this is originally a 2-pile design, meaning 1 room in the front, 1 room in the back, with a center hall, which, as you know, that back gallery would have been open initially, and that would have created wonderful breeze to keep this home cool in those hot Mississippi summers. Let's go into the front parlor and look at some of the treasures in here. We have not only architectural treasures, but we also have furniture treasures in this room.
I don't know if you remember or not, but I worked really hard to put this path in front of the cottage just down the hill from Hope Farm. I used this beautiful stone, and between it I put crushed granite and really hoped that it would stay put for years to come and look beautiful. Well, that was not the case. Unfortunately, we sit at the bottom of this hill, we get a heavy water runoff, and over time we get weeds, grass in place of the granite, causing a whole lot of frustration. But today we're going to try and solve this problem. That's why I'm so excited to try Rock Glue by Shabebe. I've been wanting to try this product for a long time, and this project is the perfect opportunity. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like to check it out, but let me show you how it works. Rock glue is designed to lock loose stone and aggregate together with superior adhesion, helping prevent erosion and washout. Since water runoff is exactly what caused my problem in the first place, I was excited to see how it would perform here. One thing I really appreciated is how straightforward the application process is. No complicated equipment, no difficult installation process, just apply it evenly and let it do its job. Once cured, it creates a strong bond between the stones while maintaining the natural appearance of the path. It's also formulated to stand up to the elements with excellent weather resistance, which is important on property like ours where rain, heat, and humidity are a constant challenge. And as an added bonus, it's pet-friendly and child-friendly once cured. I've got to say I'm absolutely thrilled with how this turned out. The path looks fresh again, the rock is secured in place, and I'm really optimistic that this will solve the runoff problems that I've been having. And the best part, you can actually see the difference. Instead of loose gravel moving around underfoot, everything stays where it's supposed to be. If you have a gravel path, crushed granite walkway, decorative stone landscape bed, or any other area where you're tired of watching your hard work disappear every time it rains, be sure to check out Rock Glue by Shabebe using the discount code in the description below. Let me know in the comments below where you'd use it around your property, and if you've used it before, I'd love to know your results.
Well, here we are in the front 2 parlors of Ruthland. Now, this is where you can really see that in the mid-19th century, this home underwent a trendy facelift. The Routh family sold this home to General Clark around 1856-ish, and what would have been a very simple Federal double parlor, which would have had either folding doors or pocket doors separating a front and back parlor, received a complete overhaul. And we see here an opening up of this space and a reimagining into a true high-style Greek Revival space. We have these very, very detailed plaster cornices that run around the room. And then that is when, in that 1856 Clark period, this arched fan opening was added to separate the 2 parlors. So we still get a delineation of the space, but the room is always open, so great for entertaining. Something else that was changed in this room with that 1850s update are these beautiful mantles. These originally would have been either very, very simple Federal style wood mantles, or they would have been very simple stone mantles. But what we have here are high style Carrara marble mantelpieces that were replaced in that mid-19th century facelift. I love the look of these. These are very, very different than any of the other mantelpieces, marble mantelpieces that we see from this 1850s period here in Natchez, with this almost Gothic design in the arched molding of the opening. This is where we get those Gothic elements that we talked about earlier being hinted at. Now let's talk about the treasures in the furniture in this room. This furniture set that you see here, this beautiful furniture set, is the Clark parlor set. It was ordered in 1870 and has been in this room since that time. So it will also stay with the house. Let's take a look at this little room off of the main parlor. This is the front bedroom right off of that formal parlor, double parlor that I just showed you. This is a great space in that it is an ensuite. So if you have a guest that wants to come, you want to be completely detached, have their own space, this really functions beautifully for that, a guest or a mother-in-law's quarters. We have a bedroom with a bathroom and then a pass-through window onto what would have originally been an open portico. The window could have been raised for breeze, but now it's a little office space. So you have a bedroom, an office, a bathroom, and then another bedroom that's attached to this space. But what I want to talk about in here is this King of Prussia marble that was sent down from Pennsylvania. Absolutely stunning. And it was added in that mid-19th century update that we see. Look how elaborate it is. You have the fluted Doric columns, gorgeous surround, and then I'm going to show you an earlier version from the earlier period of the house as we walk further back. This is the second bedroom in that mother-in-law quarters or guest suites that I told you about. Another King of Prussia black marble mantelpiece from Pennsylvania, but my favorite element of this room, are you ready? We are walking through an original pass-through window that would have originally taken us onto an open gallery that now takes us into a delightful sitting room full of windows, giving us natural light and a view of the 10 acres in downtown Natchez that this beautiful home sits on. So as I mentioned before, this home is all one floor living, which is splendid, especially for people like Kevin who have terrible knees and don't want to deal with a staircase every day. But it also means that this home of 6,100 square feet is sprawling. So we wanted to bring you back here to the main hall so we can give you sort of a starting place so you can understand the floor plan of the home. We took you through the right-hand side of the house with the main parlors, the mother-in-law's suite, and onto that gallery. Now we're going to go into the front parlor, the main suite, and work our way back to the dining room and back gallery again. So come through with me. Here we have the family parlor at Ruthland. This would have been the parlor where the family would have congregated for private evenings. The double parlor on the opposite side would obviously have been for guests, for company, and for parties. This would have been a smaller, warmer, more intimate space. Warmer both figuratively and literally. If it ever gets cold here in Natchez, this is a much smaller space, so easier to keep warm. We have beautiful walk-through windows across the entire front of this house. As I mentioned earlier, 9 across the front of this house, 2 in this room, so it can be thrown open on hot summer evenings to get a nice cool breeze running through this glorious space. These high ceilings give such a sense of space, even in the smaller rooms. And behind me is a gorgeous pink sienna marble mantelpiece, part of that mid-19th century update. So this room leads into a guest room and then into the main suite. So let's go through. Well, we talked about monumental spaces in this house. What about this space? This is the main suite in Ruthland, and it is 30 feet deep. Yes, you heard me correctly, 30 feet deep. So imagine what you could do with furnishings in this space. As you can see, the current owners have an absolutely glorious 1870s Renaissance Revival set in here, and I think it's perfection. Behind me, I have some questions about this mantle. I'm not casting aspersions, but I am suspicious. It appears to be marble, but if you look at it closely, it looks like a painted surface. So, is it slate that's been overpainted to appear to be marble? Is it a type of cement that's been polished and painted to appear to be marble? Because this would have always been a private room. This would never have meant to be a public room for public viewing. The original owners would not have wanted to spend the money that they spent on that King of Prussia marble in the main rooms or the Carrara marble in the formal parlor. Those would have been very expensive even to get to Natchez. If you can imagine, they would have had to have originated either in Italy or in the Northeast. They would have had to come over on steamboat, then by rail, then probably on a steamship, and then by a mule team carrying these beautiful mantles. So they would have been incredibly expensive. So in a private space, we aren't going to go to that same type of expense. So we look like we have a marble mantelpiece in here, but I suspect it's not. All that to say, this is a glorious main suite that does have the most charming 1940s era ensuite bath just behind me. It is absolutely stunning. There is another bedroom just off of this space that we're going to go in and have a peek. It shows you the early iteration of the home, the smaller trim and a more simplified mantelpiece. So let's come take a look. Here we are in the small bedroom that is off of both the main suite and off of the family parlor. So if that helps you orient yourself at all, I have the family parlor here just in front of me. That bedroom just off of the family parlor that we went through that had all the delightful children's toys in it. Then we have the main suite behind me, and now I am in another bedroom. And I wanted to bring you into this bedroom and show you specifically this mantelpiece. Here we have what appears to be that glorious King of Prussia marble again from Pennsylvania. The difference here is in the actual form. This is a pure federal style mantle. So we know that this piece, because of its construction, you can see there's no fluting, there's no ornamentation. This is a clean, symmetrical, federal style mantelpiece. But this would have been a very, very expensive addition to this home. This would have been a sign of great wealth because this was not a formal room, a public room at that time. This probably would have been the main bedroom at the earliest iteration of the building of the home. And so this would have been a concession for the owners of the property to have some real luxury in their main room of their home. So here we have in a private space, an early federal marble mantelpiece. Now, I'm gonna head through what would have been the open gallery into my favorite room in this space, the dining room. As is very frequently the case, the dining room is my favorite room in this entire home. But this room is special to me for a different reason. Usually the dining rooms are my favorite because they're so monumental, and this one is certainly monumental. It is 36 feet in depth, absolutely glorious. But why do I love it? Because of its beautiful federal symmetry. I want you to see on either side of this room, we have 3 of these glorious pass-through windows. So can you imagine in the early 1800s, they're having a huge dinner party in this space. Guests dressed for the evening in frock coats, petticoats, long sleeves. It's Mississippi summer, it's hot. What do? We open all 6 of these windows and we get glorious cross ventilation. It would feel like air conditioning blowing through this space, and they all remain. And most of them retain all of their original glass. Now they walk through onto an enclosed gallery that has a wall of windows behind it that looks out onto the 10 acres that are included with this beautiful room. But this space is utterly glorious. Here I am walking through. It's one of my favorite things to do because I love to think about the hundreds and hundreds of people who've walked through that same space over the 2 centuries this house has been in existence. Can you imagine? I would love to have been one of those ladies in 1817 wearing my Empire style gown walking through. It's just amazing to think about. I don't like to think about the yellow fever and the dysentery that might have gone along with that, but it's fun to romanticize. In the early days of this home, this entire back gallery would have been an open porch space. We can tell from the lap siding that this is the original exterior of the home. This opposing wall, you can see the original flat siding that would have been present on the exterior of the house. And then this would have just been open space to enjoy evenings on the veranda overlooking the glorious grounds that are Ruthland.
Ruthland is looking for a new steward, and if you think that might be you, what you'll find here is a beautiful estate nestled on 10.2 acres. Included in the estate are the main house of over 6,100 square feet with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, a guest cottage attached to the main house, and 2 additional guest cottages located on the property.
We've come to the end of our tour of this monumental home. We hope you've been able to keep track of the spaces that you were in. We're trying to reorient you here at the end of the video. We started at the front of the entry hall and we're ending at the back of the entry hall. And I am now standing in what would have been the original back gallery of the home, which is now again another beautiful enclosed porch space. We hope you've enjoyed the opportunity to see Ruthland. It is a private home. It is not open for tours. So even if you're not its next steward, you've at least had the opportunity to take a glimpse at the history of this glorious parcel that still sits, as we said, right in the middle of downtown Natchez, Mississippi. But are you the next stewards of this beautiful home? If you are, remember, we are not the realtors. We are not representing this property in any way. We're just sharing with you the architectural history of this home. If you're interested in becoming its next steward, you can find the realtor's information in the description below. We do not guarantee the property in any way, shape, or form. We hope you've enjoyed this tour of this incredibly historically significant property. We hope you've enjoyed being with us again on Preservation Travels with Lane and Kevin. Subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.